My name is Lee Goldstein. I want to welcome you. We are now through phase one. We're really excited to get going. And let's get started. Our schedule today, I think it's definitely the most important thing we're going to do. But what I want you to do first is not counting the link and finding the link. Who has a problem that is they're unable to solve, or a complaint, or needs help? I just want to know if, just make me aware if you have a big problem with something. And keep in mind that Saturday is going to be, there's no subject on Saturday. I want people to start gathering questions. Saturday is going to be a Q&A, where if you have a problem, you're going to get help with it, and it gives us a day to catch up if people are behind on something, okay? So 21 days is way long enough to do what we need to do. So Saturday, please bring your questions, because I want to spend the whole session answering questions if possible. It might be a short session Saturday if there's not a lot of questions, but I'll prepare something just in case. All right. But I don't see anybody saying that there are any big problems. Okay. I don't see anybody. So I can assume there's no big problems. If you're behind on something, um, all the videos, all the recording links are, if they're not posted right now, they are going to be posted in a day or so, or not in a day or so, they are going to be posted today. Okay. And let me show you what I'm talking about. The other thing is, people were asking about what are the rules of the contest. So there's a couple of really important things that will help win. And we're going to check also and make sure we're doing it fairly and the right way. But I will be posting this, all the links, okay, to all the recordings. All the links will be there and they'll be posted, okay? I promise that'll get posted today. What else was I going to show you? If people would, we would love it if you post yourself in a hat. I know it seems silly, but it's not. It's just fun. We absolutely want to have fun doing this also. So the prize, okay? How do you win the prize? So the big thing is this: show up. The people that show up the most, that's bonus points, okay? If you show up, and we're not going to, we're going to go easy the first week because of the link problems. But after today, there will not be link problems. So show up, come to the webinars, come to the classes, partake on Facebook, okay? Engage, be active, get involved. I know there's a couple of people that don't like Facebook. It's too bad, but engage on Facebook. I'm sorry, I'm not a Facebook lover, but the best thing and the most important thing is create a 3 to 5 minute video. We don't care about the quality, but we want to know about your transformation, okay? We want to know how this helped you, okay? That is probably one of the most important things. Explain your transformation and experience with the Trade Live Challenge. If you don't want to put your face in the video, then don't, okay? Don't put your face in. Just make an audio recording using a video, a recorder, a recording program. That's like one of the most important things you could do. And explain to us how good this was for you. Hopefully it will be that's the way you feel. If it's not good for you, make a video. We want to know so we could make it better for everybody coming forward. Okay, moving forward. So take part, post, be active, and that's how we're going to decide on who wins the prizes. Okay, if someone never says a word, never does anything, we're not going to know you're here. So, have fun and enjoy it and partake of everything we're doing. And we'll figure it out, and we'll figure out a very fair way to do it. Okay, we're not going to be unfair. Um, what else do we got? I never posted on Facebook, but I did enough posting in this challenge to make up for the past 14 years. I agree. I agree. I'm not. It's like I'm with you all. I'm not a Facebook poster. I'm not a big Facebook person. All right. So today, what we're going to do, we definitely need a party. We definitely need a party. We're going to have a graduation party. We are going to have a graduation party. Okay. So Michael is saying that, and I'm sorry I used the first name, so forget it. I'll comment on that privately, Michael. I'll comment on that privately. The only thing I'll tell you is things go through cycles. we've had uh, we've had both winners and losers. That's how trading goes. So I totally disagree. Okay, let's go, and we're going to start. So today we're going to learn how to test your own trade. All right, it's the most, I think, to understand playback. To understand playback, it's the most important, probably one of the most important things. It's in the top three most important things. If you learn how to do this, then you can learn how to find an unlimited supply of trades. Okay, that's why to me this is so important. If you can do it, and everybody can do it, it's really not hard. Um, but if you do, you can find an unlimited supply of trades. It's just that simple. Just that simple. Okay. So, what is playback anyway? So, very simply, the playback feature is being able to take a previous date and repeat it in the platform. Okay. So, not all platforms have a playback feature. Some of them call it playback, some of them call it replay. I don't care what they call it, it doesn't really matter. But as long as we can do it, then we have a platform that'll allow us to test. So, one of the things you need in order to do it, right, is a calendar where you're going to get the data. Or, if you want to be a little bit lazy, right? Hate to use the word, but if you want to be lazy, you could wait just for our weekly schedule, right? Like I'm working on next week's weekly schedule, and I mail it out every Sunday, okay? And let me start with this week's schedule, for instance. So you've got the time of the event, which is the trigger time, right? You need to know the time that the news is released, right? That's not complicated. So you starting with a calendar, you make a list of a couple of trades that you want to test. Then the info that you need is the time of the event, okay? The instrument we're trading, and that's where we're going to start from. Time of the event, the instrument we're trading, and the type of trade. Is it a breakout? Is it a trap? Okay, there might be other types, but for the sake of the challenge, we're using those two formats to teach through the challenge. You may see some other trades in the trade room because we have, many active members, and we're still doing a lot of the normal things that we do every day. We have range trades, we have market open trades, we have all sorts of other things. We're not going over everything in 21 days. You can't. We don't want to give you a lousy education on everything. We want to give you good on a proper amount. All right. So, for instance, you'll look at Australia bank rate. It was 1030 last month. Now, you want to keep in mind, and the reason you want to practice looking at the calendars, you got to remember there's daylight savings, right? So what trade that might be 10:30 this month might be 11:30 next month. It might be 9:30. So just, be aware that times are changing because of things you didn't think about, right? So you get your little list together and you think to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? We've got, let's look at this week. So this is a great way to do it. I wanted to do some testing today, so I'm going to do it here. So Friday, Friday, and another reminder, WASD is tomorrow. Okay, we sent a million emails. WASD is tomorrow. Okay, so we will have a room for WASD. Friday, we have core PPI. Okay, it's an 8:30 in the morning test. It's a pretty volatile report. So the first thing, besides talking to Chantal and just going over all the charts manually, just downloading data, I want to actually test real trades, but I don't remember the dates of the trades. I'm not that smart. So I actually have a giant, I'm a pretty savvy computer person, but I'm old fashioned in a way, and I just want to show you what I do. Doesn't mean you have to do it my way. I have this crazy book, right? It's like 1,000 pages thick, and I write down the dates and all my trades in there and all my testing because you know what? Sometimes it's easier to just go through a book. Whoops, sorry. Easier to just go through a book than to pull up Excel and go through all my files and find the file. Sometimes it's just awesomely easy to go through my book and find the setup. So that's what I do. I buy a $10 book at Staples and I have a trade journal and I get a really thick book. It lasts me a year and I can keep track of the setup, if the setup changes, etc. So, we didn't talk that much about a journal. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do is we'll do a session, the Saturday Q&A. I'll add the journal to that and we'll talk about the journal, what you should do and how important it is. And it's not rocket scientist. Keep track of what you do. So with Ninja Trader, I get my calendar, and as everybody knows, I love Forex Factory is the first calendar I check for getting together my schedule. All right. Now we're going to do replay, so I don't need today's clock. I don't care what time it is. When you load Forex Factory, don't forget, click on calendar, and then you get the whole week. And then if you look at this arrow up here, these little tiny arrows around the date, if you want to go forward a week, click the arrow again for 2 weeks, and click the arrow left if you want to go back. It's real easy to navigate in whatchamacallit, Forex Factory. Okay, it's real easy, real easy. So I'm going to go down. What did we say we're dealing with? We're dealing with core PPI, right? We need December 9th. Okay, so I scroll down and then I click on the file folder, PPI month over month or core PPI, they're the same. And it gives me the history dates. Those are the previous dates of the report. It also explains what the report is. But that's what I need is the historical dates. And depending on how far I'm going to go back, that's what I'm going to make note of. So for all purposes today, we're going to keep track of November 15th. Okay? November 15th. Now, Ninja Trader gives you approximately 3 months of download data, and it's free to get 3 months of download data. If you become a serious tester, then there is a product that you could subscribe to, and it's really inexpensive. It's about, I think, about 30 bucks for the whole year, 40 bucks for the whole year. And they give you unlimited data that you could download going back years and years and years. So when you get to that point, you could email us or let us know, and I'll recommend the product. For now, it's perfectly great. NinjaTrader gives us 3 free months of data. So remember, we're dealing with November 15th. Now, you can download data while you're connected normally to NinjaTrader. Right now, I just booted up my NinjaTrader, so I'm live, okay? I'm live data. I've got my real data. Now, by the way, NinjaTrader has a $300 sale. If you didn't see it, you can buy a lifetime license and save $300, and it ends December 16th. It ends December 16th, okay? So it's a great deal if you want to become a lifetime NinjaTrader member, and I get nothing. We get zero from that. It's just a really good deal. They do it every holiday season. So now, so think, we're connected to live data, excuse me, and we want to download replay data. Bear with me 1 second. My throat is getting it already, and it's early. So I'm going to go to Tools, Historical Data. And historical data is going to open up a little chart that looks like this. Okay. I like it better smaller. It's easier to see. And this chart has market replay. You're going to click on that. Then you're going to click on load. And then I'm going to click on get market replay data. And it's going to be on the date you're looking for. What do we say? 11/15, right? We're going to go back to November 15th. The only tricky part of downloading data is eventually you're going to learn what the contract was on November 15th. For now, if you don't know what the contract is, you can email brokerage support at ninjatrader.com. You know, email them a couple of them at once. It'll save time. And also, I'll show you how to find the current contract right now. For now, I'm going to tell you what the contracts are, but you're going to learn how to figure out what they are for previous dates. So November 15th, the report that I'm looking at is PPI. And on PPI, we trade it either with gold or the ES or the NQ, okay? So I might download all three. I might download just one. Let's assume we're going to trade the ES this week, okay? And I want to test last month's report on the mini S&P, the ES. So the date was 11/15, and by definition, I know that the contract I need is ES 12/22, okay? And you can always email me, help at 10-minute trades, if you're not sure what contract you need, because one of the action steps is to test a trade. I'm happy to tell you. ES 12/22, make sure that's it, and then just click on download, and I've downloaded the data when it stops over there on the right, okay? That's how long it took me to download the data. If I want to download gold, also gold is GC 12/22 for the November date. If when you click this little arrow, the instrument is not in your list, slide down to futures and then look for GC 12/22 and then click download. Now, I want to backtrack about something also that's important. But now we got the data downloaded, you can close this screen out. Okay. But you're a new Ninja user or you're not an expert on NinjaTrader. How do you add an instrument? Okay. If you want to download data, you should add instruments by doing it a specific way. But if you're in a trade room, there's multiple ways to add instruments. Let's say you don't have any time to screw around. You're getting ready for a trade. You forgot to enter it into your instrument list, and you only have 3 minutes left. Just type the contract symbol into your chart. GC 1222. And now the chart goes to that wrong instrument. It's not current. Okay, but it would let you trade the correct instrument. GC 223 is current gold. Bingo. Now you could trade gold. But when you're downloading a lot of data, there's a different way to input. You want to input so when you go to look for the contract, it will be there. So go to Tools, go to Instrument Lists, slide down to Futures so that you put your indexes and your symbols into the Futures folder, okay? And then click on Add on the right side. And now, for instance, if I need the new gold contract, I type GC 0223, enter. And it'll either accept it or it'll say instrument already in the list. Let's do another. So let's add the British pound, 6B 0323. Instrument already in the list because I already did it. But you do that for any number of instruments that you want to test, okay? Any number of instrument you want to test. Now, something else, just for knowledge, all right? Currency futures, like the Australian dollar, Japanese yen, the euro, they have 4 contracts a year. And it starts March, June, September, December. So the NQ, for instance, the NQ is always going to be NQ 1222. And then the next contract is going to be, and this is appropriate because this will probably be tomorrow. You need the new NQ because it's rolling over today. NQ 0323. See what I mean? It goes in quarters. And then the one after this is NQ 0623. All right. Now, these are things you just learn. I didn't, you don't have to memorize it. You can look up current day futures contract. It's probably one of the most confusing things because every trading platform uses a different format. In other words, NQ 0323 might not be the same format as TradeStation or TradeAvate or some of the others. So don't panic over it. You can always email us. You can always ask your broker. You'll learn it. It's just a question. The more you put instruments in, the more you'll remember them. Okay, so we learned how to download data. Now, let me show you how to find the current instrument if you don't know what the current contract is for the instrument you're trading today. So let's say you just come into the room and you're just not sure what, you want to trade the euro, and the euro is 6E, right? But you don't know the contract that is the proper date. So just type in 6E and you notice there's this list across the top, all CFD crypto Forex future. Well, click on future and then choose 6E, double click it. Bingo, I'm on the 6E and it says 1222 is current, okay? It says 1222 is current. Let's check 6B. 6B, future 6B. I'm going to double click it. It shows up in the list. It's saying 1222. Okay, let's do NQ. It's on future, this list, NQ, double click, 323. Okay, so that's a way to find the current contract. All right. Now, if anybody has a question, just type it in. I'll get to it. I promise. I see a few hands raised. If you have a question, type them in. I will get to them. I promise. Okay, so we know how to download data. I'll do it one more time because it's so important. You're connected to live. You're going to go to tools, and it doesn't matter if you're connected or not. Go to tools, go to historical data, click it. It's going to open up a chart that looks like this. Click market replay, click load, click get market replay data. Okay, click get market replay data. Put the date in, the correct date. We needed 11/15, right? So I know the date before 11/15 that I want was October 12th. So if I want to test 2 months of the trade, I get the data from 2 months ago. And it happens to be the same contract. It's that same December gold contract, right? It's the same ES contract. Nope. Our ES contract was what? ES. If we're going to download ES, let's get our ES. Let's do it right. ES is going to be ES 1222 because I'm downloading October's date. October's date, it's December's contract. I'm going to download it. And I'm going to double check my November 15th. Go to November 15th. The little arrows move you back and forth. I want the ES contract for November 15th. It's also ES 1222. Click download, and you see the download on the lower right corner. So I've downloaded 2 months of data. Easy as pie, right? No problem. So now I want to actually get ready to run a replay. Put your chart on the contract you're testing. So my chart goes to ES 1222. Just type it in. You know, there's probably about 30 ways to put your chart on a contract. You could do it in the upper corner here. ES, I could change to the pound. Okay, I could type it in like we did. If it's in the list, you could just click that arrow. Those are the two easiest ways. All right. So I'm on the chart for ES. I'm just going to ignore this chart. Okay. I'm only using one chart. That's okay. And now I go to connections and I'm going to disconnect my live connection and I'm going to connect playback. I call market replay playback, interchangeable, replay playback, same thing. Click the connection. You get your little green that you're connected. And now we need to go to the date of the report, the time and the date. The first thing I do is in the start and end box, we put the same date, 11/15, because that's the date we're testing. Sometimes there's a delay for a second or two as the program calculates. Don't worry, that's normal. So we're putting in 11/15. Make sure the date is correct on both, and then just click in a blank space. All right. Now make sure you're up here, you're on market replay. All right. There's a little box. In the blank space, right click, go to. Sometimes go to will be grayed out for a second or two. Okay. It'll show up, trust me. Sometimes the program's calculating. So now I'm going to go to, and we get a new box. Make sure the date matches the date you're testing. And now the time we're going to put in is the time of the trade, but you don't want to put the exact time of the trade because remember, we're going to replay it. We want the software to start a few seconds before the actual event. Now, you don't need more than 15 or 30 seconds. You don't want to waste time watching, waiting. So what I normally do is I'll use 10 seconds before a breakout trade is supposed to start. So this is an 8:30 event. So I'm going to type in 8:29. and 50 seconds, 10 seconds before 8:30. And if I need it to be PM, I would just click on that arrow. I don't need anything. It's AM, 8:29:50, and OK it. Now, if your charts are still blank, you don't see anything, click the F in this corner here, and it'll put the data on the chart. Another very important thing to remember, if when you're doing replays, the data doesn't look fully formed, like there's missing candles and it just doesn't look right, right-click the chart, scroll down, and reload all historical data. Sometimes the data just doesn't get there. I don't know why, but it is what it is. Reload all historical data. That'll usually fix if there's missing candles or the time is wrong. You replay it, you downloaded the correct data. Okay, so just reload all historical data. So now we're ready to play and do the replay. Now I want to warn everybody about a bug. There's a bug in NinjaTrader. Sometimes the first time when you start running your replays, when you press play in the control panel, because it's like a tape recorder. We're starting the tape recorder. When we press play, it's going to set the time back to 0 or 12 a.m. Watch. It did. Just in the blank screen, right click, do the go to, and just put your time back in. There's a bug. They haven't fixed it. I bugged them to death. Maybe one day. 8:29:50, right? 10 seconds before the trade. If that ever happens, you just put the time in again and OK it. Now, just make believe it's coming into 8:30 and you're in the trade room and you're going to set up your trade with the strategy, just like you normally would. So right-click the chart, click on strategy, right? Get your DMM for the trade. Now, I've got to get my DMM. Now, we have a new setup, most probably, for PPI coming up. So make believe I'm getting this setup from the DMM, all right? It's a breakout. So I'm going to double click the software. Make sure your trade type is breakout trade. I'm going to activate the trade at 8:29:59. Okay, 8:29, and if you make a mistake, just put the time back in. 8:29:59. My bracket for the ES is going to be 10. I'm going to trade, let's assume, 2 positions. So I've got position 1 is a 1. Position 2 is a 1. That means 2 contracts, 2 positions, 1 contract at each position. And I've got target 1 is going to be, let's say, we'll say 7 ticks, okay? Let's say 9 ticks, and we'll say target 2 is going to be 19 ticks. And my stop, let's say our stop is going to be 20 ticks. Okay, it's a big stop. It's a volatile report. And I'm going to scroll down and check a couple of things. I want to make sure that my account warnings are not checked. I want them off. So when I go to trade live, it's going to trade. Okay, you don't have to worry about ranges or anything about that. I can just scroll down. Make sure that your input series is the same as the chart you're trading. We're trading the ES 1222. Make sure your account is on live or playback if you're playing back. If your account is not on playback when you're doing playback, it won't let you enable the trade. And then I like to label all my trades ES PPI. I just like to. It's a good habit. And then I scroll down. I'm going to apply it and OK it. And then my trade shows up in the control panel. We are on replay, right? We're on playback. Enable it. You'll get your logo, your icon, just like you normally do. And now when I press play, the trade is going to take place just like it was live and a real market. Press play, watch the timer up here, okay? We're going to get our brackets. There's our brackets. The news comes out. Wow. Wow. That looked like a pretty good replay trade. So there are many things to remember. Replay is like sim. It doesn't account for slippage, all right? Remember that on a 1-minute chart, you cannot see the same amount of data that you can see on a one range chart, right? You can change your time frame of your chart. Up here it says 1 minute, right? And you just see a big candle. If you want to look at a 1-second chart, you might get a better idea in 1 second if there were problems. You know, there might have been a problem that month with freezing on the ES because that is how volatile this report is. You could have price freezing on a PPI report. That would not show up necessarily on the 1-minute chart. So that's something that we will talk about in the trade room also if it was an issue. Believe me, we know if that's an issue. And then you can scroll back on a 1-second chart and you could just see different activity on the chart. It's much better when you have live data to use smaller time frame charts. Replay is giving you an excellent idea if a trade could work out. You must just remember that replay and sim is not perfect. There's nothing better than a live trade for a real honest to goodness test because sometimes you just can't see the movement of data. Now, no one ever told me this when I first started out. So I thought that 1,000,000% guaranteed this was a winning trade no matter what. Now, if I want to go back in time and replay it, go into the blank spot, right click the mouse, okay, go to, and just make the time earlier. I never use the scroller because it seems to just screw up the replay, okay? Just type in the times, 8:29:50. It gives you your 10 seconds. Anyway, you can't get the scroller exact anyway. When I say the scroller, I mean this thing here. Now you want to replay the trade again, right? I went to a different time, 8:29:50, and it should play it back properly. If for some reason, see the data, I'm just noticing right now the data doesn't look right to me because it looks like the move already is partly over. So I'm just, just have a little bit of thought. I'm going to reload the historical data. And it's going to give you a warning. You're already in the middle of a trade, but we're in a replay. You could ignore any warnings and continue. And see, I was right. It wasn't the data needs sometimes to be refreshed. It's just refreshing the data. So I'll put my time back to 8:29:50. And you get so fast at doing this, you get really good. There's also other ways to test. We're going to get into that, not in the challenge. It's more complex. We will get into that in January. We're going to do a big webinar on super testing. I'm going to replay this again. Okay. And I'm just going to have to wait 10 seconds. That's all. The trade, the brackets will show up. There's my brackets. And the news comes out. Wow. So this looks like potentially a nice setup. Let's look at, didn't we download 2 months of data? The other month we downloaded was October 12th. So change the boxes, okay, to October 12th, 10, 12. Make them both 10, 12, okay? And then we're going to put our time in, right click the blank space, go to 8:29, 50, 10 seconds before the trade. Okay. 8:29:50. Okay it. Where's my data? Click the F to put the data back on the chart. Okay. How do I move and do that stuff? Left mouse button, hold down the left mouse button, and it moves the price up and down. Hold down the left mouse button with control, and it moves the whole thing up and down. Okay. Press play. Make sure your chart is on the correct contract for your new date. Okay. Our new date is October 12th. It's the same contract as the previous, so we don't have to change the chart. It's on a 1 minute. That's what I like to trade on. Press play. Now it's set the time to 0. It doesn't often do that once we started replay, but it did. It's no big deal. Right click the blank area, go to 8:29:50. Replay is so important that I'll deal with any bugs it throws at me until they fix them. 8:29:50. Okay it. Now I'm ready. Press play. Watch the timer up here. Now, if you really want to be good, let's watch this trade. I don't know what happened this month. Okay, let's run that again. It looked like another possible good setup for the ES on this report. You sort of getting an idea of what's going on here. Look at how much it moved. You see how we might find out what we might choose as targets if we know how to replay. All right, tell me that you're getting this. Tell me that you're seeing why this is important. Somebody say something, because no one has said a word since this webinar started. Are you all here? Are you all here? Is anybody hearing me? Is anybody hearing me? Anybody? Am I talking and nobody hears me? Is there no webinar going on? Seriously? Folks, is no one hearing me? Is nobody hearing me? Oh my God. Okay, I apologize. Oh man, this is not a great day. This is not a great day. I can't I'm not going to tell you what happened. Okay, you're hearing me. I didn't see a single question. So I'm going to stop for a minute. Let's just replay this one more time. I got scared that no one was hearing me. I'm sorry, I panicked. I'm going to go to the blank area. I'm going to the blank area. I'm going to go back in time to 8:29:50. You see why I go back a few seconds? What if it's a really volatile market? I could go back 45 seconds, right? 8:29:30, 8:29:30, right? I might want to do that so I could gauge the market a little better before the trade took place. I could set my brackets, watch what the market was doing, right? Get a feel for what's going on. And then it's going to take place. I was already also going to show you, if you really want to even add more realism, open the calendar after your trade and take a look at what the news result was, right? That particular day. That particular day. So you could see, was it good news that made the market go down? Was it bad news? But look at the move. Don't turn off your replay in 1 second. Let it run. Let the give yourself an idea of what the market did after the news event took place. Maybe you're the kind of person that wants to learn how to trade reversals, right? Okay. Maybe there's all sorts of things you want to do differently, maybe, or add things to the way we trade. It's all sorts of things you could do. But right now, I would be extremely optimistic that I've got us, a really good trade on the ES, a potentially good trade on the ES based on this testing. This is good testing. It's not perfect because you can't see every little move of the market. On PPI, we also know that the last bunch of trades, the markets have been so volatile, they've been freezing. Do you realize what I'm saying? We weren't getting filled. The markets were so volatile. I don't think that that's going to happen tomorrow. Okay. I think that the freezing markets are becoming less since the elections are over. That's what I think. But there will always be a market every now and then that might freeze. Natural gas, in particular, has a propensity to do that. But we hadn't seen normal volatile trades being so volatile that they would actually freeze. But if we have a normal market reaction, then I have the ES setup, which I think is an excellent setup, and we would use it. If we think the market's going to freeze, we have an alternative gold trap trade that honestly on PPI, not that great. Okay, we're not married to it, but PPI and CPI have frozen so many times over the past months that we have to be especially careful with them. Sometimes a trade is too risky, but in that case, Lucy, on these trades, just you could trade one micro. You're never going to get killed on one micro. There's no reason to totally quit. There are ways to mitigate your risk. Most of the time, not most of the time, but sometimes if a market is so fast, you won't get a fill. Sometimes if a market is so fast, you'll get filled at the bottom or top of the candle. And when it changes direction, you'll get stopped. Sometimes when a market is so fast, you'll get a lousy fill and it'll just keep moving so great in your direction, you'll make a fortune. So there's not always bad results to a fast market. There's just as often good results. But you just want to be aware what has been happening in certain trades so you can be prepared. A lot of times when you get a no fill, it's unnerving. You think to yourself, "Whoa, what happened? My orders are on the chart. The price is moving." In the case where you get a no fill, you just cancel your trade and you watch the market. All right. Let me go through the questions because I didn't see the questions. So let me back up. Let me take a minute. Now, there's one thing that I forgot. Okay, one thing that I forgot. And I just want to make sure that I show everybody. So let's say we're done. You're done with your replay. So you can just uncheck, right? And you could disconnect your replay connection. One thing you cannot do, you can't download replay data. You can't download the data when you're connected to replay. I don't know why, but you can't. All right. You either have to be live and connected to your normal connection or unconnected to anything. You can download replay data if you're unconnected or you're connected to your normal live data feed, but you cannot download data when you're connected to the replay playback feed. It's just like you can't adjust trade settings when you're enabled. If you're not enabled, you can adjust your settings. If your trade is enabled over here, it won't allow you to adjust your settings, okay? Just try to remember that. That's something that drove me crazy when I first became a member. Drove me absolutely nuts. I would always email Jay, the owner, why can't I adjust my strategy? And he would patiently email me the same thing back. He would say, you nincompoop. No, he would be very patient. Okay, now let me go back just to make sure. Okay, you answered some of the t-shirt sizes. I'm just going through what everybody said. So Lucy missed the WASD. Lucy, you didn't miss the trade. There is we were wrong on the date. I made a mistake on the WASD. I'm going to take full responsibility. WASD's tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll be starting at 1, and everybody is invited into the WASD regular trade room to watch us trade WASD, okay? So WASD is tomorrow, which is perfectly okay. Nobody missed it. A couple of people haven't gotten their hats yet, okay? Is the challenge special Facebook always available? Yes. Facebook is always on. It never turns off. Okay. Bear with me here. Let me go through. Bear with me. I just want to make sure I answer any questions about replay that I missed. Okay. What's the total price for the Ninja deal? Michael, I'm sorry, I don't remember what their lifetime is. I think they went to $12.95 on a lifetime, so they're taking 300 off of it. Now, Chris, that's the thing I wanted to talk about. The one mistake I made, not a mistake, I left something out. I left something out. When you go to first download your data, right? When you want to download your data, make sure you're not connected to the playback server. And you're going to go to Tools and download the data, historical data. Click on Market Replay. Click on Load. Make sure that in data type, see, I always download the minute data, and I don't need any more than that, okay? And I only need the last price. But if you really want all the data, you could check ask and bid prices and the tick. But for what we're doing, very honestly, I do fine with the minute data. It takes longer to download the other data, but just know that it's an option to get more data. But it works fine just for last and minute, okay? And then get market replay data, put your date in, and then the contract, and click download. And then you have your download data, okay? Now, I'm going to go through all questions. This is the most important thing. This is all I'm doing today. So I want to go through all your questions. How did I get the playback on the chart again? Okay, so after you're done downloading, right? If you were downloading on your regular connection, go to connection, disconnect your regular connection, and then click on playback. And that puts your playback connection on the screen. Okay? That's how you get the playback on your chart. No one told me about that bug before. Oh my goodness, Lucy, it drives me nuts. Okay. All right. There were not a lot of questions, so my NT8 only let me download. You can only download one day at a time, Ricardo, if you want to download. If you want to download large amounts of data, there is a company. You have to pay a little bit. It's not expensive. That's what I use when I'm downloading a ton at a time. And the name of the company, it's called marketreplaydownload.com. Market Replay, let's go there real quick. There's two of them. They look exactly the same too. But one of them only supports NinjaTrader 7. So you don't want it to have anything to do with that. We don't use NinjaTrader 7 anymore. You know, you can use NinjaTrader 7 with our software. I would not recommend it, but we still have a viable version. It's just not a current version. MarketReplayData.com. These are the people. And, you know, I don't remember what it costs. My memory is it's like 49 bucks a year, something like that. It's not bad. It's not all that expensive. Okay. Pricing. Let's see what it is. You know, all these companies make everything so difficult. It's $49 a year. Okay. Well worth it. Well worth it. MarketReplayData.com. So you could download multiple contracts all in one download. Kevon, I have no idea the number of ticks on that trade. That trade that week, if I remember correctly, the NQ moved over 100 ticks. We didn't capture 100, but it moved a lot. It moved a lot. Okay, so I'm just going through the questions, going through the questions. WASD is tomorrow. All right. Can you put on the breakout and the trap trade at the same time? Lucy, yes, just use two separate charts. Absolutely, we do it all the time. But don't trade them at the same time. You can't trade, you shouldn't trade two instruments. You shouldn't trade two setups at the same time on the same instrument. It's not that it's risky, it'll screw up the trade. What if your trap trade has a different target and a different stop than your breakout trade? You could trade micro gold and gold on the trap and one of them on the breakout. We do that a lot in the trade room. So just don't trade the same instrument at the same time on different setups. Okay. Let me see if there's anything else. So based on historical data, effective and higher probability strategies and trades absolutely are chosen. Absolutely. Think about it. What did we do today? If you came to the natural gas trade today, you saw us find a new trade for natural gas. We have been testing, we just started, let's put it this way, a potential new trade. There's a micro for natural gas and it looks really tradable. We never really tested it. We didn't really pay much attention to it, but it looks great. I'm going to trade it next week. I'm absolutely going to trade it next week. So the password for the trade room is being emailed, but let me check what it is. I can't give it out publicly, but bear with me 1 second. I'll try and answer everybody's questions just to save time so you don't have to look on Facebook or dig for your email. So now I want everybody to ask me any question about Playback. Your action step is to find a trade and test it using Playback, right? Find a trade. And if you find a trade and you can't figure out why it's not working, that's valuable too. You don't always have to do what we say perfectly. Finding a problem is a really good thing also, in my opinion. It can really be a good thing, okay? So that would not be that bad. That would not be that bad a thing. So let me just finish the questions. Does the lifetime NT license enable unlimited historical data for replay? No, they only give you 3 months. It's just how they do it. It's just how they do it. The question, does lifetime, okay, I answered that. What is WASD? Hope, WASD is a trade that we have tomorrow at noon. It's a grain trade, and it's been a really good trade. It's a grain report, and we trade corn because corn moves on that report. So that's what a WASD is, okay? So I don't see any other questions. So everybody is telling me they completely and totally understand how to do replay. Is that correct? Am I correct? Everybody feels comfortable. And I believe you. I think we covered it very clearly. If everybody feels, I want to make sure everyone feels comfortable. Step one, go to Forex Factory to find an old report or a new report. Kevon, you're going to find a report that has previous reports. Angela, it shouldn't be too much tech for you. Let's get you going, Angela. Let's get you going. Let's get that attitude. Not enough tech. Angela, it's not enough tech for you. That's what I want you to say. Not enough tech. Angela, I'm going to step through it all one more time just for you. Okay, Lucy says Playback screwed up my Ninja and crashed it. That doesn't make any sense, Lucy. It couldn't have been Playback. It could not have been Playback, okay? And I'll bet that they did not admit that it was Playback. There's no reason why Playback would damage anything. Maybe bad data got downloaded, Lucy, right? Maybe bad data got downloaded or something like that. Don't be afraid to use replay. Please, don't be afraid. I've been using replay. That's the first time I've ever heard that ever, 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 ever. Okay? First time ever. Now, Angela, there's also Ninja has a great video on playback. It might even be better than me. Okay? Ninja Trader has wonderful, wonderful videos. Let me just point everybody to them. Video guides. They're fabulous. All right. Just type in Ninja Trader video guides. Get connected. Advanced trade management. Create a chart. Trade from the charts. Um, they definitely have market replay. Okay. Strategies. Let's see where they do market replay. Loading strategies and indicators, order entry, how to use the dome, attaching or stuff that we never even do, adding multiple instruments to the chart. Why don't they? Where's their replay? I know they have a million of them. I'll find it. Let's find it. All right, trust me, it's there. Do a little Googling. So, what I would Google, let's Google Ninja Trader playback video. All right, Google Ninja Trader playback video. And you know what I do? I never quit. I never quit. I'll just email platform support at ninjatrader.com and they get back to you within 15 minutes most of the time. That's really good. They're really good about it. They really are good about it. And you could also find, I don't want to send you to a competitor. So I'll find, here we go, Ninja Trader playback. Here is the link just for you, Angela. Now, Chantal might have some things to say, so I'm going to listen. Angela, here's a special extra link. This link I'm sending to everyone is Ninja Trader playback video. Okay. When you're done with me, if you need even more, watch their video. I'm sure it's short and clear, maybe better than me. Okay. Maybe better than me. I'm not the best in the world that ever lived. Okay. There's other, their experts are absolutely the best. So let me just make sure I got through the rest of our questions. So now I'm going to go through everything once more. Okay, Arthur, so I say do the replay and say there's 2 minutes before the real report. I don't understand your question, Arthur. I'm not doing replay normally 2 minutes before a report. I think what you're confused about is what I said before was putting an instrument on the report if I had only 2 minutes. I replay, days before. I don't some days I'll replay an hour before a report to see what I'm doing, okay? But I would not be replaying 2 minutes before a report. What I think you're getting confused about is I will put the time on the replay 10 seconds before the actual news report. So let's say we have this particular report is 8:30 in the morning. So I'm going to put the time in that the replay starts 8:29:50. 8:29:50. So Kevon, you don't have to post a successful playback. Just post your screen. Just post a screen action step, folks, with playback connected, and just type in what you tested. Okay, fair enough. Just type in what you tested. I don't want to make you do homework. Okay, I don't want you to have bad homework. John, I'm seeing your questions. You're in the right place. I've answered every question I saw you post. I've answered. Now Chantal says something important. You probably don't want to. You don't want to have 1,000 days of data and a ton of indicators on your chart without cleaning your database. So, Chantal, how do you clean your database in Ninja? What's the best way to clean the database? That's a good idea. Let me tell everybody, if you want to tell me how to clean the database, or I could make sure that I let everyone know for next time, I'll make a note because I probably need to clean my database right now. If you can type it in, if it's not too complicated, or I don't know if I can put your mic on, Chantal. I don't know if you have a working mic. I don't see you even having a mic on your computer. I don't think we can do it. Let me go through the rest of the questions, and I'll keep that in mind off. Very important. Say you did the replay and there's 2 minutes before the real report. What is my criteria? Oh, to either enter the trade or change it. So again, Arthur, I'm not going to do my replays 2 minutes. 2 minutes before a report. The only time I'm involved in making changes is if there's volatility in the market. I'm not making changes due to a replay because I'll have done the replay usually hours and hours before the actual event. Okay. I don't recommend doing things at the last second. Don't do things at the last second. Ninja Trader has a channel with tutorials. I'm going to post that link for everybody. Thank you, Andre, who seems to be Mr. Link. You're great with the links, Andre. Thank you so much. See, folks, without you, I am nothing. And I say that sincerely. We're all in this together. It is not us versus you, it's us versus the markets. Okay? It's us versus the markets. We want their money. And we'll do anything we can do to take it. Okay? All right? Let me keep going through the questions and I'm going to go through everything one more time. So, Arthur, you understand what I'm saying? My criteria for changing a trade or adding a trade is if I'm positive by watching a trade in replay that it has the potential to be a really positive setup. And that's something that you just can see. If a trade tests over and over and it looks like a winner, there's certainly a good possibility it is a winner. Okay? Every single test. If I make some of my criteria, Arthur, might be in this market 2 to 3 really good replays, 2 to 3 really good replays out of 4 or 5. Okay, if I test 3 out of 5 winners, I'm very interested. If I test 3 out of 5, if I test 4 out of 6, I'm trading it. If I test 3 out of 3, I'm probably going to try a live trade. Okay, if I test 1, I'm going to test it again. 2 in a row, I might try it with micros. Okay, does that help, Arthur? Does that help? Sometimes the criteria is, I don't mean to be a jerk. Sometimes my criteria is I've been doing it so many times that I recognize a good test when I see it. Everybody will get to that point, but otherwise, some of the good criteria is when you get one good test, don't trade live on one good test, test again. 2 in a row, I might trade a micro. 2 out of 3, I'm still real interested. I'm going to keep testing. And then I start simming in live. Okay, if I get one great test, I might start simming in live, right? If I get 2 in a row, I'll probably throw some micros at it on a live trade. I'm willing to do that. 3 in a row, I'm probably in. I'm probably in. All right. Okay, starting from scratch. One more time, because this is not taking very long either. All right. Hey, everybody. We just got here. We're in the trade room. We're all connected to our live trades because we just booted up our platform. And we're going to do a replay today. Everyone's going to test the replay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get investing.com. How about that? We're changing it up. I'm going to go to investing.com, not Forex Factory. So let me teach you two things, two calendars in one class. All right. That's what you get when you go to investing.com. Click on news, click on economic calendar, scroll down a little bit, click on this week. Okay. Now, if you have to go back in time to look for stuff, you can. They have a date control, right? You click the date and you could put custom dates in. Okay, I'm not going to get into that, but everybody knows how to do that kind of stuff. For us now, I'm just going to put in this week, okay, because we want to look for a trade that we're going to test this week. Okay, click this week. And on this calendar, find a trade. I don't care what it is. Preferably, if you're going to do some replay, try to find a trade you think we are trading. Make it be a reasonably popular trade. All right. You want to replay, but you know what? I'm not going to get into what we're going to get into tomorrow. Forget it. Don't worry about it. Whatever you find is okay. It doesn't matter. So, we found, let's just say we did the same thing. We went to Friday, blah, blah, blah. We found, oh, look, there's US PPI. Looks good. 3 stars. I've heard of it. Maybe it's going to move some market. I'll email Lee and ask him what it's going to move. So, you know what? Hey, Fred, it's going to move the ES. That's what I want you to test. Test the ES. So we're going to get our dates. We're going to get our dates. All right. We're going to get our dates. So you go back to that replay, that name of the report, right, at 8:30 on Friday. 8:30 on Friday. And click on that day. Click on that day. I'll get there eventually. I'll find it. So many reports. Click on PPI. And it's scroll down a little bit and it lists the previous dates. So there's my November 15th. That's what I'm going to download, November 15th. All right, I found a previous report on the calendar, so I don't need my calendars anymore. Just remember November 15th. Go to Tools, Historical Data. The chart opens up and it looks like this. Click Market Replay. Click Load. I use the last data, minute data, and if you want tick data, you could check that. Otherwise, it's going to do fine for my tests, just having last and minute. Click Get Market Replay. Now, what did we say the date was? 11/15/22. Click the down arrow. That's November. Click the back arrow. 11/15. Click the 15. And the contract for the ES in November is actually the December contract. So it's going to be ES 12/22. If it's not in your list, scroll down to futures, look to the right, okay, and find it to the right. If you can't find it, then you need to add the instrument. Go to Tools, Instrument Lists, scroll down to Futures, so it goes in the Futures folder, click Add, and add ES 12/22, press Return. It says it's already in the list because I already added it. It's going to say for you, okay, okay it, and now go back and it'll be in the list. ES 12/22 is the instrument. Click download. The data downloads. You see it download on the bottom right. You see it actually take place. Sometimes it's so fast you don't see it. Close this out. Now, disconnect your live, connect market playback or replay. I call it replay, it's market playback. You'll get your tape recorder. It's a control panel. Change your chart to the chart you're testing, okay? So we're doing ES 1222. All right, just type ES 1222. Bingo. And now put in the date for the replay, 11:15, and put it in both boxes. Now, this is good that this happened. The start date cannot be greater than the end date. Don't panic. Don't worry about it. Okay? So just okay it and start at the end. That's all it means. That's all it means. Just start on the right and move to the left. 11:15. I'm so glad that happened. 11:15:22. And now back here, 11:15:22. Okay? Both dates the same. Blank space, click the right mouse button. Go to. Sometimes it'll be grayed out for a second. Just wait for it. And now we're going to put the time in. So it's an 8:30 trade. We know that. The calendar told us. Put the time in a couple of seconds before the trade. I like 10 to 20. So I'm going to put in 8:29:50. If it's PM, click the up arrow. Sorry, make sure you're on top of the AM before you do that. What I do is I put my cursor on the AM and press the right arrow on the up arrow on my keyboard. Okay. We don't need a PM. We're on AM, 8:29:50. Okay it. Hey, I can't see my prices. Oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Press the F. There they are. If the prices look weird or there's unfilled spaces and you're just confused, right click, reload all historical data. Sometimes that'll save all problems. Sometimes it doesn't do anything because it's already there. So we got our boxes. I'm ready to press play, but no, I'm not. What did I forget? I forgot to turn on our software. We didn't put it on. So right click the chart, strategies, get your DMM, get your handy DMM out, right? Let me get a DMM. Let me get a DMM, all right? Even though it's not going to be the same, but let's make believe, all right? So let's get a DMM. So we have a DMM, but I'm going to make believe it's not a trap trade. All right, so let's just do, we'll use this. We're going to use this. Make believe this is ES, and we're just going to enter in our trade like it's a breakout. Double click the software like we always do. Make sure it's breakout trade and go over the yellow line to get your setup, okay? The setup is exactly what we traded in the room, okay? So I've got a 10 tick bracket. I have an entry time of 8:29:59, okay? I'm taking this from the DMM and I'm going to trade two contracts. Position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1, and I may have two targets, of course, 7 ticks and 19 ticks, two separate targets, and I have a stop of 20. I've set up a breakout trade. I'm going to scroll down. On playback, make sure your account warnings, you could still turn them off, okay? I do that. Also, make sure the account you're using is playback, because that's what we're doing. We're not live, we're not sim, we're on playback. I like to label all my trades. It's just what I do. You don't have to. Apply it, okay it. Your trade's going to show up on the control panel. Enable it. We're ready to go. We make sure our time is right. Remember that little bug? Remember that little bug? Okay. When I press play, it's going to reset our time. Don't panic. The time is 12 a.m. Just in the blank space, right click, go to, put the time back in 8:29, 59, and now we're ready to play back. Our price is there. Make sure you're enabled. Okay, what did I do wrong? It should be 8:29:50, right? 10 seconds before the trade, not 59. I'm glad I'm making these mistakes. So just press in the blank space, right mouse, go to, fix the time, 8:50, not 8:59. Okay it. Make sure you're enabled. Press play. Watch the timer. I'm excited. What's going to happen? I bet it's a winner. ES. Here we go. I'm rich. I traded 1,000 contracts. All right. That is a replay. Okay. 8:30, it was PPI, John. John, you're going to get the name of the trades in the beginning from the weekly schedule. Okay. Use the weekly schedule, the free weekly schedule, to get the name of trades. All right, folks? Let me send the weekly schedule as a handout to you right now. PPI is tomorrow. It is. Yes, it is. Weekly schedule. I'm going to hand it out to you. Okay? Give me a second. Let me try and make your lives as easy as I can. I will hand this to you. Okay, let me know when you see the schedule in the handouts. Now it's funny. Okay, it just finished installing in there. Just remember, if you don't go in the room, definitely, if you don't come, if you're not a trade room member, which is perfectly okay. Oh, you know what? We're letting everybody in for WASD. You can all sneak in. I'll tell Eric to keep the password the same so everyone can sneak in. All right. I'll tell him to keep the password so everyone can sneak in. Okay, now let me ask questions. Let me see if there's any extra questions. So I hope I answered Arthur's question. So John, you're testing previous Fridays, right? Don't get confused. You are testing previous Fridays. So we're replaying November 15th. Yes, the trade is tomorrow also, but we're replaying previous days. That's why we have to load data and put a special part of NinjaTrader on the chart so we have a way to replay a previous date, okay? Don't get confused. We're also streaming tomorrow the PPI on YouTube. So if you're not a trade room person, you can watch and listen on YouTube. Just keep in mind it's delayed more than normal, a couple of seconds on YouTube. So I don't see any other questions. I'm happy to answer any others. That is today's lesson. Tomorrow we'll get into finding your own trades. All right. That's like the most fun. Fred, do you have a question? Because I see your hand is raised. Usually I think you know probably that you could just type it in. So I'm thinking it's not meaningful. So people prefer the older web method or the older webinar system or this system? I'm probably going to go back to the old because there were just there's too many problems coming in with this newer. Newer system, I can't take it anymore. I just can't take it. I couldn't take it. I I don't know what the problem is. I don't know what the problem is. So to get older previous dates on the calendar, when you're in Forex Factory, use Forex Factory because it's much easier for previous dates. Forexfactory.com, press calendar, and then the arrow up top next to this week scrolls by weeks. Every time you click that little arrow, it scrolls through time by a week. Okay? But you have to be at the top. You have to be at the top. Okay? Got to be at the top. Okay? All right, folks. Any other questions? Any other? Otherwise, that's it for today. It's easier with Forex Factory. It's easier. With investing.com, there's a lot more steps. So do it with Forex Factory. It doesn't matter what calendar you use, just find the trades. Every calendar has a different way of navigating. Forex Factory is quicker and easier. So use Forex Factory. All right? It's easier. All right, folks. Arthur, let me find it. Arthur's asking for the whitelist. See, Arthur, I don't think it's going to work because for whatever reason, Eric seems to be using multiple email addresses on the emails. I don't know why that's happening, but here's that link, Arthur, the whitelist link. All right, there's the link. Okay, everybody. I'll see everybody tomorrow, 8 o'clock in the trade room or whatever. Okay? I'll see everybody tomorrow. Anybody else have a question? I see a couple of hands raised, but I don't see any typing. I don't see any typing. All right, folks. I'll get this posted for everybody and I'll see you all later. All right. Have a good rest of your day. So long.